It's been a funny old week, and I've been feeling really guided and directed and even pushed by the universe in lots of different ways. This podcast is one of those ways. Somehow I've ended up recording 2 podcasts for this week, but because this second podcast is time sensitive and it's all about the new moon and an amazing Venus-Jupiter connection, which could be really good for people regarding love and money, I can't hold it off until next week. I have to publish it now. So here it is. A special bumper extra episode about why this week with the new moon and Venus and Jupiter, it's so good for manifesting love and abundance. Welcome to the Mainly Moonology podcast. I'm your host, Yasmin Boland, an award-winning astrologer and the Sunday Times best-selling author of books including Moonology and creator of the Moonology Oracle cards. My intention for this podcast is to help you understand how you can create your dream life using mainly Moonology, the moon, as your guide. Hi guys, and welcome back to the Mainly Moonology podcast. You know, before we do anything, I am feeling really inspired to draw a card. I feel like someone who's going to listen to this needs a card. So I don't know if you can hear it. I'm shuffling the cards. If you would like a card, just say out loud or silently, depending on where you are. Silently or out loud, this card is for me. If you have a question, wow, a card literally flew out of my hands. And thankfully, well, before I say this, before I tell you what it is this card for you? This card is a great card. It's a shame we're not on video, but it's a podcast. It literally flew out of the deck, and it's the new moon eclipse card. And the message is expect powerful change. So whatever is going on in your life, whatever your big question is or was, expect powerful change. And it's a very auspicious card. So expect powerful change in the right direction, whatever it is in your life that you want help with. Ask the angels, ask God, ask Goddess, ask your higher self, and expect powerful change. Also remember, you have to take inspired action. So this is actually a great card for this week. I'm so glad that I happened to draw that. It literally was a spontaneous thing I did. We can expect powerful change this week because this week brings a new moon, and every single new moon is a chance to start all over again in whatever part of your life you need to start off with. Now, I'm not going to go through all the 12 signs because it doesn't make for great podcast listening, but I will say if you look at your horoscopes on June 29, look at your horoscopes on my website, yasminboland.com, or if you're in Australia, you can look at them on the Yahoo website. They will tell you where the new moon is taking place for you. And remember to read your rising sign if you know it, for reasons I won't go into here. But basically the new moon, if you don't know, the new moon takes place once a month, about every 4 weeks, when the moon and the sun are on the same degree of the zodiac. And just for the record, this month they are on the same degree of the zodiac at 7 Cancer. So if you have any planets or angles at 7 degrees of Cancer in your chart, then you know you are getting a mega big start. Now, the reason why I've said in the show description this week that the new moon is all about manifesting an abundance is because this new moon takes place just before a very auspicious Venus-Jupiter alignment, okay? Just before a very auspicious Venus-Jupiter alignment. So let's just break that down a little bit. So first of all, as I said, we get the new moon every month. And what you want to look at when you're analysing a moon is what's it doing with the other planets? Is it clicking or clashing or clanging, or what's it doing? In this case, the new moon is just separating from an aspect where it's clashed with Jupiter, and that might sound like a bad thing, but the truth is that Jupiter tends to be a pretty good planet. So even when there are clashes with Jupiter, it more or less is more likely to mean you're going to go a bit too far, say a bit too much, just push the envelope a little bit beyond what you should do. If you've already done that, if you're listening to this and going, yeah, done that, don't worry. It shouldn't be too problematic, hopefully. Normally, where Jupiter's involved, things usually work out relatively well, not least because Jupiter is the greater benefic, and basically it's Lady Luck up in the skies. It's Fortuna. It's on our side. Jupiter is on our side. Jupiter is actually associated with Zeus, who had his issues, but overall Jupiter is the lucky planet of good times and good fortune and, expansion and improvement and adventure and travel and getting perspective and counting your blessings. So, overall, it's okay that the sun has just clashed with Jupiter. Now, moreover, right after the new moon, we get this link between Venus and Jupiter. So, Venus is the planet of love and abundance, and at the time of the new moon, she is in the sign of Gemini, which is great, and she is making a harmonious angle. It's called a sextile. She's making a harmonious angle to Jupiter, which, as I just mentioned, is the planet of good luck, the planet of amplification. They call it the Lotsa planet, lots of this and lots of that, and in this case, Venus, Jupiter, lots of love and lots of abundance. Okay, that might sound like a pipe dream because, hey, don't we all want more love and more abundance in our lives? But honestly, this new moon, if you only make one new moon wish this year and you want to wish for more love or more abundance in your life, wish it this month or this week under the new moon. The new moon is taking place on the 29th of June at 3:52 a.m. UK time. You can look in my diary for the times around the world, or you can check it out on your astrology software or in Ephemeris or wherever you like. Basically, make up to 10, but ideally make about 3 new moon wishes just after the new moon, and make sure at least one of them is about love or abundance of something you want more of. Jupiter is actually recently moved into the sign of Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, marking a new start for Jupiter, because Jupiter takes about 12 years to go around the chart. And so this Venus-Jupiter connection is a really beautiful connection to be making a wish, setting an intention about, just say if you've decided you want to find love in the coming 12 months, for argument's sake. On the night of Venus, Jupiter, just after the new moon, make a wish about love and then write a 3-point bullet list about what you can do to make your wish come true. So obviously, if you're looking for love, the obvious thing is, first thing is go out and get yourself a nice photo of yourself. Write yourself a nice profile on a dating site, and also have a look and make a date. Don't be shy. Don't go in there thinking, oh, I only ever meet horrible people, because that is not going to help you. Remember, we create our own reality. So go in there and think, what? There are so many people around the world who've met their dream lovers on the internet. Maybe I'm going to be one of them. I might have to kiss a few frogs along the way, but let's go. Or if you just can't push yourself to do online dating, you've got to take inspired action. So you can't just make a wish to fall in love and then stay home and expect him to turn up, unless you marry, as I like to say, the pizza delivery guy, or, these days here in the UK, we might say the Ocado grocery guy who drops in and drops the groceries off. You can't just stay there thinking, it's all going to be fine because I've made a wish. I've lit my love candle and now he's going to fall into my lap, or she's going to fall into my lap. You do have to take inspired action. So, other things you can do. If you absolutely refuse to go online, join a club. Like when I wanted to get married, this is kind of partly, why I went to live in Paris, because I was single, and I actually, the truth is, the whole story I'll tell really quickly in a nutshell. I was in Sydney. I'd had the breakup from hell, I don't know, a year or so earlier, and I was kind of, starting to heal, although I was still having nightmares and all this. It was a very toxic relationship. I was even still having nightmares about it by the time I moved to Paris. But I'd been in Sydney for a while, and I was thinking, maybe I'm just one of these people who's never going to get married. There are people who are never going to get married. I might just be one of them. And I basically surrendered to the idea that I might never get married. A few people had told me this is a good idea, to surrender to the possibility of never getting married. And then sometimes when you surrender to it, then it happens. So I thought, okay, well, I will surrender to it. I accept it. If I'm never going to get married, maybe I'm never meant to get married. I've always been someone who's helped people astrologically. So even back then I was, getting emails from people asking for help. And, I was always quite busy trying to help people out. And I thought, well, maybe if I, fall in love and get married, and maybe even if I'm lucky enough to have a child, maybe I won't have enough time to do that. And so maybe the universe just wants me to keep helping people. Maybe that's my karma and my dharma. So I surrender. And I thought, okay, well, if I'm not going to get married, if I'm not destined to get married, what's the next thing that I would most like to do if I'm going to be single forever? Well, how would I like to be single forever? And I thought, I know. I think I'd like to go and live in Paris. That's what I'd like to do. And this was back in the days before England had left Europe, and I was actually born with a British passport. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to go and do that. And I probably thought along the way, well, I do quite like Frenchmen. I mean, who doesn't after all? And there's lots of Frenchmen in Paris. So off I went, and then, I met Olivier 9 months later. I had an amazing time in Paris, and then eventually met Olivier, and here we are, I don't know how many, 16 years later with our 15-year-old son. So, my point being that you can't just say, I wish to get married, or I wish to meet my perfect partner and then stay home. I know I'm telling you that I said, oh, well, maybe I'll never get married. Well, that was true. But also I do think, well, at least if I'm going to go out and have flirtations, I love Frenchmen. I know that I'm going to find lots of Frenchmen in Paris. So off I went. So think about, the kind of guys you like. Where do they hang out? It's a bit, do you like sporty guys? Well, then join a sports club. Do you like artistic guys? Join a artistic club. If you don't want to go online, because I'm telling you, I think online would be a really simple solution for 2022, but it's completely up to you. Do as you like. But get out there and do something when you make your wishes this week. Plus, just say you're wishing for abundance. Okay, financial abundance. What are you going to do? You're not just going to wish to win the lottery. Why not? Because on some level, it's really hard to win the lottery. Therefore, it's really hard, even if you can believe it for 10 minutes, and you can start to create it. There are so many people wishing to win the lottery. On some level, your chances of winning the lottery are very, very low. You're far better to ask for an inspired idea to make money, or, for a great new job where they absolutely love you and your talents and you love them and they reward you handsomely, and then you want to do what we always do, come up with an affirmation to express that your wishes come true. So my favorite one I love to give is, I love my new job and my new job loves me. Something like that. I love my job and my job loves me. Or I run a thriving astrology business. So you might, I run a magnificent healing center which earns thousands and thousands of pounds and helps thousands and thousands of people. Whatever. Just something that you can really believe in. It's really, really important to do that this week. If you are someone who believes in manifesting, if you know you have the power to manifest, don't worry if you're listening to this a couple of days after the new moon. It's fine. We'll put all the times of the moons in the notes. But do it as soon as you can after the new moon. Make your wishes, see them as real, feel them in your body, turn them into an affirmation, and then take steps to make them come true. So if you want a great new job, if you want to open a healing center, what's the first step? Write down 3 things that you can do. Preferably the first one should be within the next 24 hours. And remember, at the start of what has become a little bit of a new moon rant, I'm sorry about that, at the start of all this, I pulled a card, which I literally just decided to do on the spur of the moment. It literally jumped out of the pack, and it's the Expect Powerful Change card. So beautiful things can happen. The other thing is, if you're involved in any kind of situation where something is stuck regarding love or abundance, please note that the new moon, hotly followed by the Venus-Jupiter alignment, added to this new moon eclipse card saying expect powerful change. I think it means that something is going to shift. There's going to be some kind of breakthrough. Expect good things. hold the vision, because as we go into this new moon with this very auspicious Venus-Jupiter connection, it's going to be a really good time for manifesting good things. So there you go. So I'm going to leave it there for this week. I hope you have an amazing, amazing new moon. Join me on Facebook and Instagram. I will be doing a new moon ceremony with great pleasure. And I look forward to seeing you on one of those, or I will see you back here next week. And just remember, we go live. Oh, actually not live, is it? We publish the podcast every week, Monday, 4 p.m. UK time. That's 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, and I'm afraid it's about 1 o'clock in the morning in Australia. And if you ever can't remember how to find us, mainly Moonology.com will take you to a page where you can find the platform. And then please remember to like and subscribe, because that helps us with those magical algorithms. All right, have a beautiful, beautiful week, and I will speak to you this time next week. I hope you've enjoyed this week's Mainly Moonology podcast. If you've enjoyed it, please subscribe, give us a review, and we'll be eternally grateful. We publish the podcast every Monday, 4 p.m. UK time, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, and I'm afraid to say it's silly o'clock in Australia, but it will be there when you wake up on a Tuesday morning. Have a great week.